if there's a conversation to be had right now, unless the conversation is, I am bringing this topic up because I want to explore how this topic threatens my identity and makes me feel unsafe and has my inner child basically crying, there's not a conversation to be had.
The reminder that I keep getting is every time I really try to control something, the harder I squeeze, the more difficult the solution becomes. The problems inflate to the size of how much control I'm exerting. $128.
$475.
Let's do that.
I'll just
You'll
say numbers and I'll make up numbers after you.
Yeah.
So that way you feel important and I feel important. I don't have to follow your importance. I can just have my own importance with my own numbers.
I can say numbers too.
I think that's going to be my new thing. I'll just say a number. Today's 475. Some other time I'm going to be, I don't know.
Something else.
You don't know.
Don't know.
You just don't know.
3.
They will not be in numerical order. How about that?
-8.
They will not be in numerical order. They will just bounce all over the place. Yeah. Okay. So today is New Year's Day, a Chinese New Year Day. But astrologically and astronomically, yes, both.
I mean, it is today's the new moon.
New moon, new year because it's a new moon.
Yeah, on the lunar calendar.
Yeah. But then there's like planetary resets as well. Like all kinds of planetary resets, which I do not have the
I don't either.
The educational background to tell you anything about that. Other than like everybody has been saying, make sure you finish all your shit in the year of the snake, which was yesterday. Because come the year of the horse, things are different. And I was like, oh my God. So you and I have been like kicking in personal narratives and making sure that we get
cram it in.
So yesterday we were cramming, and this weekend we were cramming, and the Friday we were cramming. I think just like for the last 2 weeks we've been really cramming.
Yeah.
But today the message that I get is that there's no more lies. And so that is what I wanted the podcast to be.
That's good.
But why that's good like that?
No, no more lies. That sounds good. Annabelle had a prompt from her English teacher. What would the world be like if there were no more lies? For a day? Was that what it was?
I don't know if it was for a day.
And she said, "Oh, people would get angry." And he's like, "Why?" And
look, he actually pointed out that everybody else was saying something positive, like, "Oh, wouldn't it be great?" And she was the only one who actually said people will get very, very angry.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, please elaborate," because I think she was the only one that actually realized what that means.
He's like, and she elaborates with that people won't like what they're going to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why we lie.
Right. To protect ourselves and maybe sometimes other people's feelings, but probably mostly ourselves. Probably.
No, it's a self-protection mechanism. We think it's somebody else's.
Even protecting someone else's feelings is protecting ourselves, because we'll feel bad if they feel bad.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, when I say about lying, like we automatically, this is what's interesting to me, is that we automatically think like, oh, it's like the world lying, or like the people are lying to us. And it wouldn't be great if everybody stopped lying to us. But that part is great. We think lying is, for the most part, we think of lying as like something that happens on the outside and we're then the victim to it, or we're somehow lesser or worse off to it, right? I think that goes on, right? Like people lie, and so then therefore your outcomes end up being lesser than or whatever because of those lies. But the primary culprit behind lying is actually us lying to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have already talked about this many times.
Yeah. And that's the sneaky one. And like, I've been lying to myself my whole life and I didn't really realize it. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't want to. Maybe that's what it is. I didn't want to realize that because the truth hurt. It was scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No more lies. It's interesting because today, I was running late and I had to like pick a shorter yoga, and I picked just a random 20-minute yoga as opposed to my regular yoga. And she was talking about like, this is again a random yoga out of thousands of yogas options, right? So they're just random click. And I don't actually listen to what they say in the beginning, but I just kind of derive the summary of it from what she was referencing in the yoga. But she was saying like setting boundaries, right? So if you set a boundary for yourself, and the boundary could be a declaration as a boundary. Like yesterday, we were discussing a lot of things about boundary settings, right? Like all of a sudden, if you develop boundaries, which sounds weird, but like in my age, I could relate to all of a sudden.
Right. For me, it was an all of a sudden thing too.
Yeah. So if all of a sudden...
It seems to the people you're setting boundaries with that it's all of a sudden.
But it's probably to you. To me, it was all of a sudden because I did not have boundaries to begin with at all. So, when you all of a sudden decide, oh shit, I don't have boundaries and I'm going to have boundaries. There's this time, and this is very interesting. It seems like this is kind of like the turning point, like this shift between the planetary structures and the astrological alignments and things like that, where the boundaries have been kind of like building. Like the idea of my boundaries has been building, but then all of a sudden they're like locked in. And like everything I've been hearing has been kind of like this idea of like, oh, just, horse energy is very strong and very powerful and moves very quickly forward. But I didn't know what that meant, except like today in my value, and I'm like, oh wow, there's like a very adamant nope, like to a lot of things. And I think it's actually been building up over the last couple of weeks. Like there's this slow buildup of a lot of no's.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that just don't seem to fly anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. But so no more lies, one, is kind of like the general declaration into the world. But because there's a very clear boundary. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like, actually having boundaries with yourself.
Well, so all of a sudden, if you have been thinking and noodling around with the idea of your boundaries, like, oh, I don't know, is that rude? Is that not rude? Like, all right, like I've been noodling around with it, like, oh, I wish things were different, but I don't know how they could be different, and blah and blah and blah, and then like you're wishy-washy because you want to be nice, but at the same time, it's not healthy. But you're like, I don't know why it was wishy-washy. Like,
right. But they're so old that they'll never change, and that's just how they are.
Well, no, or besides holding elderly responsible, I'm talking about holding the world responsible. Like on my end, I was like, oh, the world is full of idiots, and the idiots are just be idiots, and things will just be the way they are. And I don't. It's interesting because I want to point this out because I think this is going to be manifesting itself very quickly. The idea that the world can change like at a blink of an eye was not an option. And so I thought, oh, why bother even like determining or wishing or positioning the world to be different? Because like, well, what are the chances of that? Like, how is that even going to happen? I don't even know. Like, there was all of this, like, I know I'm sounding like an idiotic valley girl, but like, that's the energy. It was like, yeah, I just don't know. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, there's no adamancy, which I have been known to have adamancy my entire life. And it was like wishy-washy, like, yeah, but maybe we should have people have their space, and people need their space, and things are just, we're just gonna let things happen. We're just gonna let this play out. And now it's like, yeah, that was in the past, and now there's no playing out. This is the directive, and directive is there's no more lying, and the world is changing. Period.
It definitely feels like there is this amazing potential for change right now. Amazing, like in ways that's like, I've always when I would picture some sort of change, I would want to understand how that would look like. How is this going to work? Well, I don't know. First, I need money to do it. So maybe I win the lottery. Maybe, and I don't know. And I would, because it's like, okay,
but it's wishy washy.
It's wishy washy because it's like
there's a
whole lot of things, a whole lot of dice that need to roll exactly right in order for this magic thing to happen, instead of just, the universe has it. The universe will do what the universe does, and stuff will work out. So I really try not to specify a recipe for how success looks as much, because I've really always wanted to. Because if I could provide a recipe, then I could understand it, and if I could understand it, that made me feel safer.
Because you're controlling it.
Because I'm a control freak. And just going, well, things will work out. How? I don't know. Period. It just felt very, I don't know, letting go of the wheel while driving, right? If that's how it felt. It felt like, okay, I'm releasing control. Turn on universe autopilot.
Really? Because to me, I feel like I have been releasing control for the last 3 or 4 years. Like, my whole point in life has been like, try to release control. The prerogative was try to release control. But the truth was, see all the ways that I'm having a hard time releasing control.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but like very much have that as the goal. But like, oh, look, I'm failing at it like 120%.
Yes.
I'm specializing in failing at this.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if it's been 4 years for me. I think it's been less time than that for me, but it is super obvious to me how much I resisted, how difficult it has been to really let go of control, especially for the whole, I wish things were different. I need to understand how that would work. I need to.
Because it's so scary.
Because it's so scary.
Yeah.
Because it feels, the problems feel unsolvable. It feel like, peace in the Middle East level unsolvable. It's like, I don't know. I don't have a solution that makes everybody happy. I don't know. I just don't know. And so going, it's okay that I don't know. And stuff will just, the universe will do what the universe does. And I can just enjoy the ride and trust the process.
It's interesting because I saw myself miserably failing at surrender.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the practice of surrender was to realize how hard it is to actually let go.
Yeah, for me too.
No, that was very obvious. And at some point, it just became like, now I'm surrendering into the idea that it's really hard to let go. Like, I'm surrendering into the surrender.
To be honest, the reminder that I keep getting is every time I really try to control something, the harder I squeeze, the more difficult the solution becomes, if anything. It's like if I try to micromanage and control everything, then it gets as complicated as I'm afraid it actually is. The problems inflate to the size of how much control I'm exerting.
Because you're manifesting your fears.
Yeah.
Yeah, control is just manifesting your fears.
Whereas if I just go, okay, well, A, none of it's really a big deal. And B, things will work out. That doesn't mean sit back on the couch and wait for the lottery ticket to blow in the window. You, like, it is, I do, I've said this before, right? One of those God helps those who help themselves type of situation. But there's an energy behind it that when I say I really try to control something, it's that energetic, I've really got to do something that.
Well, the idea
really
of control is actually closing off the infinite, right? And putting limited circumstances on your situation. Right, from the greater interpretation of reality. If we're swimming in the ocean of infinite and everything is infinite, right? Then the idea of control is like, oh no, universe, don't let me swim in the ocean of infinite. I want to have a very precise outcome.
Yes.
Manifested through my fear of how this is going to look.
Here's my script.
Yeah. So like, you don't have an option of actually receiving anything other than what you're vibrating, which is the fear that is like, I really hope it doesn't go this way. But the universe is like, oh, this is the message. This is what we're vibrating, right? It's the universe does not hear the not. The universe just hears you speak.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that before. Whenever you say, I do not want this, the universe just hears this. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, there's not a not.
That feels like, I don't know. I've heard that before. It feels a little fear-inducing in a way, but.
No, it's fear-inducing because you're afraid of all of your rampant, unhinged thoughts. Because deep down, if you
I have a whole lot of not thoughts, yeah.
Well, yeah, because deep down, if you were bathed in truth and you allowed yourself to be bathed in truth and therefore you were open with infinite, you wouldn't be walking around having unhinged thoughts.
Unhinged.
Well, but that's what it comes down to.
That's a great word for it.
Right. The message that, I've been giving and I've been preaching for so long is start working on yourself because your unhinged thoughts will be your reality. And this is it. Now our unhinged thoughts will be our reality because the truth is optimal. Right. And the truth does not have duality. There's not like, oh, I want this, but I don't want that. If you're thinking about it, you want it. That's how the universe works. Is that scary to you?
I mean, a little bit in that, like, I mean, maybe it's a little borderline superstitious, but it's like, sometimes I'll see something or hear about something or, I'm like, oh, I don't want that. Just almost like a gut reaction to thinking it. Like, ooh, I don't want to be in that position or have that happen to me or whatever.
Yeah, but what's the right thing to do right away when you have that thought? When you have all thoughts should be evaluated against the filter of what? No, I'm supposed to answer that.
Love, compassion,
understanding of truth, deep understanding of truth. Why do you not want that?
Because it's scary.
Yes, right. So in each, if there's a conversation to be had, and I've said this yesterday, and when we were having cacao on the weekend, I'm like, and I said this to Aiden too. If there's a conversation to be had right now, unless the conversation is, I am bringing this topic up because I want to explore how this topic threatens my identity and makes me feel unsafe and has my inner child basically crying, there's not a conversation to be had. That is the only conversation to be had. And that's the only truth that will resonate. And from that truth, you don't have unhinged thoughts. You're bathing yourself in truth. And the truth is, I'm scared. And that's okay.
I mean, that's something that's been ever present lately, is this realization of how much fear and that I've been living in and trying to deny to myself, just like all the time. It's wild. And my go-to used to be to, deny it, push it away, pretend it's not there, ignore it, whatever. And that, of course, doesn't make it go away. It's still there. And if anything, it gives it feeds it.
It's fuel. Denial is fuel.
But now I'm like, okay, look at that. Yep. That the idea of that bothers me. I don't want that. Sure, I'm still saying not. But I am, this is something that scares me. And just acknowledging that to myself, like for the first time ever, is so liberating, because it's like it does really dissolve it to me. It's like, oh, if I can just admit that, then it doesn't have to sit there in the back of my mind chewing away at me.
But the chewing is the fuel that makes it appear so.
Yeah, the chewing, if it's going to manifest, it's because you're sitting there going, no.
No, it's because you're giving it fuel.
Yeah.
There's not a not. So the thought is fear, a fear of X, whatever. And you're sitting there trying to not think about X because you're afraid of X. Well, not thinking about it is thinking about it. Like, it just like, at some point, we're just gotta like open our eyes and go, how did we ever think that not thinking about it is actually not thinking about it?
What's that thing where it's like, oh, don't think about a pink elephant. It's like, you can't not if it's popped into your head like that. And my subconscious child self, all of the above, really good at popping things into my head.
No, but they're popping things into the head because it perceives a threat, and the threat is beyond comprehension. And, it kind of echoes into the present moment. But if you go all the way from the present moment echo into your inner core of a child, there's not a threat. It's just like the child is crying and is in fear.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, it doesn't matter if it's a pink elephant or if it's a tank or if it's Nazis. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like acceptance of the truth that it's okay.
Right. It's right, because it's like, that's just the truth, is that I am afraid of things.
But that's okay.
And that's okay. Right. That's it's like, duh. But that was a hard one for me to swallow.
Yeah. So right. It's interesting. Through the structure of the universe, whenever your mind interprets your desires, because not is not an interpretation. It is the amount of allocated energy to the concept is the read, right? Like, there you go. I'm just gonna go into computer software, right? Like, if I don't know, computer software, just iPhone software, whatever. But like, if your phone is full of apps, right? Or your computer's full of programs, let's say, right? And I'm just going to make them funny instead of actually legit. Well, no, I'll make some legit and some funny. Like Photoshop, right? And Lightroom will take up a lot of space.
They sure do.
Like a lot of space. And then if you start loading more work into Photoshop, shit, that is a lot of space, right? Versus if you installed, Angry Birds.
I knew you were going to go to Angry Birds. I knew it.
Although Angry Birds does take up a lot of space on the phone.
Does it?
Yeah, I used to, because I had to delete it because it was like, I'm like, wait, this is way too much. I think it had some sort of spy software in it. Yeah, I guess a little sus when it's too big. Angry Birds takes up less space than Photoshop, and then slightly less space than Lightroom, right? And then you go to a calculator, right? And calculator takes up no amount of space, right?
Yeah.
So the way the system of Earth works, or human design, right, for allocation of expansion of consciousness, is that if something takes up more room, then that more room is designated to be important, and then resources are allocated to that space. Like the amount of storage that you give to Photoshop and Lightroom and Angry Birds determines the amount of percentage that will showcase on your system.
I mean, I think that's true. It's like, you're giving them a bigger slice of your mental pie.
It's energy. Yeah. And I want to say energy,
pie.
But yes, sure, mental pie. Yes.
And so they're, if they get, 20%, and then you've got a whole bunch of like 1, 2, 3% filling up the rest of it. Yeah. I mean, it's like 20% of your consciousness is spent on that.
Yeah, but if
And
you are
that's-
sitting there
and if that
obsessing
is the war or illness or whatever, yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, but if you have 20% of your life or 30% of your life allocated to thinking of all the fears that you don't want, and the not is not present, it's like you're not going to go, you know what, Photoshop was installed, but guess what? We're not going to think about Photoshop. We're just not going to, like, you're basically going, the Photoshop is not there. Okay, we're just going to pretend like this 30% of space is not allocated to Photoshop. Just because you're fucking not running Photoshop or currently using Photoshop, the Photoshop is installed in your system because you installed the fear of being afraid of X. So if you're afraid of, I don't know,
Photoshop crashing.
I mean,
That's a
crashing
fear.
is its own thing.
That's a fear.
No, like I'm talking about, like, I don't know, what am I afraid of these days? There you go. Yesterday we were talking about child molestation, right? If I'm afraid of child molestation, right? Because I was molested as a child and somehow that's still like an open system, right? But I don't address it, but it's installed. But guess what? It's fucking installed because I'm afraid of it. Like that's how the system works. If you're afraid of it, it is a system that is installed in your psyche / your storage space.
Right. And it is at least to some degree a lens at which you see everything in the world too.
That. And so anytime anything
every
comes
white
to
van
you,
that drives by, you're like,
yeah, right. And anytime you hear a story,
it's just a painter or something, but I don't know.
I mean, I would assume 99.9% of white vans are child molesters. I mean, I think we have all proven that, right? Right. And so just because I'm not actively aware that I'm running the insult system of be afraid of child molesters, but the child molester system is still part of my programmed installation, it's there. And if something comes in, the reason why it triggers me and all of a sudden child molesters is a thing, and like I'm losing my sleep over it, because the system is always there and you're just not admitting to it.
Right. You need to force quit it.
There's no such thing as force quit. Acknowledging that the system is there makes the system go away. The goal is not to get rid of the system, is to allow the system to be acknowledged so it integrates. So next time you see a white van, you don't go, shit, there's another child molester, as opposed to,
Acme Roofing.
Sure. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of reinforce that there's the lies, right? And what we define as lies are very much like threats, right? Like we think they're threatening, but the biggest threat we have is the threat onto ourselves for the lies that we continue to propagate, right?
Yeah.
But I want to kind of like put out a public service announcement, I guess, is that they will no longer work, or they will work too well. So, meaning if you're still choosing to carry on lies and you're denying the fact that you're lying to yourself, the system will make them so apparent that, there's a possibility of crashing out.
What does crashing out look like?
Basically self-jeopardizing, like self-sabotage. If you continue to be in a situation where a lie no longer works, which will be very obvious, like you will be walking around and you're like, oh shit, look, here's the truth of me and here's the truth of the situation. Everything is the truth. And if you refuse, so it will be very obvious that this is the truth. One, so like warning, everything will be very obvious that it's the truth. And if you choose not to acknowledge that truth, because you basically see the truth and you will go, oh no, I know this is the truth, but I will pretend like I didn't see it. And like, I will like, do you know what I mean? That's self-sabotage. And then there's a crash because the system will not allow lies to exist. The truth will be super obvious. And if you refuse, and if the truth is in your face and then you still don't see the truth, whatever action you take when you refuse to admit to that truth will not be pretty. Because the system's like, guess what? No more lies, no more lies, no more lies. And you'll be like, it's either like you're forced into the truth because that's the only way forward, or if you're going to start running away from it, it's going to be not pretty. Like really not pretty.
Yeah.
And no, I don't have a definition of how the non-pretty looks like. Just an FYI. Like, I think it will be a very personalized journey of not pretty. But that's what it is. So I want to say there's no need to fear what's coming, because as long as you're willing to face the truth and admit to the truth and go saying, why is this in my life? Chances are there's something in my life that I'm hiding from myself, where I'm refusing to admit to the truth. What truth am I hiding from myself? Oh, chances are this is somehow unsafe or scary to me. Let's automatically admit to how this is unsafe or scary to me, and set a boundary, acknowledge this, allow this integration, and accept who I am. Maybe like I'm a scared little child who wants to cry right now. If all of that happens like that, you're fine. But if you walk away from that and you don't do that, you're not fine.
Right. I'm trying to do that. It's not as immediate one step. It still takes a second, but
no, but that's the summary. It's not rocket science. That's it.
Yeah. I still recognize the gut reaction to, we don't go there. And I'm like, no, that's, but there is this like, that doesn't really work anymore.
No.
It doesn't feel like it works.
And forward, it's not going to work at all.
And beyond that, it's not really practical or useful or helpful. And it never was.
No, it never was. It's just the universe had grace in order to allow you time to be wishy-washy about it. Right, that's what I'm noticing is like when in the past I'll be like, yeah, I know, but I don't actually know. Do I want this?
Maybe later.
There's no later. The later's gone. Yeah. So I want to say there's that, like public service announcement. Shit's gonna about to go down, but everyone has an opportunity to admit to the shit and take care of the shit right away. It's not that chance is not there. You just have to be quick about it and recognize, am I willing to face my truth? Or am I choosing a lie? Like, am I refusing to integrate? Which is fine too. It's just an FYI, that has consequences. And I've been saying that for a while, but like I'm saying that because like there's quite literally not any other way of being at this point. Like maybe before, like there was like some delay between choosing a lie and like consequences. The delay of consequences has kind of like shrunk off. The consequences are immediate, which I love. Like to me, immediate consequences is great.
Well, immediate, yeah, because it's immediate feedback, and it's like kind of a self-correcting ship.
Yeah. So I say this very nonchalantly, I guess, except that like I do think, just like Annabelle's paper said, the consequences of this will be very interesting.
I think it will be interesting.
And we were joking that like, you would be speaking your mind and then your soul just will be speaking the truth. And the system will almost be delayed in registration of what the fuck you're saying, because the lies can no longer be voiced.
Right.
And so you will just be saying truth, not realizing maybe even how much you're driven into the truth. Like, because the system is just, blocking off unintegration, and is blocking off denial, and is blocking off like any momentum into anything other than pureness. Like conversation that we've been having lately, and I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, is like when I was first born into Earth, in this life, I was really confused about the lying portions of things. I was like, wait, what? And it was just such a shock to me that this could occur. And then like, for the last 45 years, I have spent time studying the consequences of what it does, right? Like the consequences are very interesting. Like the position that the earth is in right now, and the state of being of each individual soul is in this position right now because of the consequences of our ability to lie and propagate denial for so long.
Yeah.
right? But remember I said like, well, the goal is to install this new technology. And whenever I was remembering my Arcturian lifetime, that like, oh, the technology was always erroring out and it kept on resetting itself because it couldn't be installed. It's installed.
I mean, there's 2 movies that kind of explore that, maybe in a comedic way. There's the Jim Carrey, is it Liar Liar? Where he's a lawyer, but like his like for his son's birthday, he's like, I wish Dad couldn't lie.
Oh yeah, I don't remember this. Okay, yeah.
And then so he's a lawyer, so he can no
he's
longer
a lawyer.
lie.
Oh, he's a lawyer. That's right. Oh,
and the one thing that the one part I remember is he's in court and he's like, and he has to go to the bathroom. He's like, I have, I really need to go to the bathroom. If you hold it, it's bad for your
bladder.
Bad for your bladder, bad for your kidney. The judge is like, is that true? And he's like, apparently.
Oh, that's so great. Because he can't lie.
Because he can't lie. So I think he just like made it up and he's like, apparently it is true. And there's another movie.
I love it.
Maybe it's called The Invention of Lying. It's in the show notes with, I think it's Ricky Gervais. And he's the first person on the planet to ever tell a lie. And he ends up basically creating religion and antics ensue.
Yeah. So
of course, this is more of a knowing Ricky Gervais. That's a statement against religion.
Oh yeah, because he's so atheist.
Yeah, militantly.
Atheistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Right, but like in Jim Carrey's case, it's very comedic portrayal of our society, and in Ricky Gervais's comedic portrayal of the other end of our society. Mm-hmm. Both of them in the arena of professions that tend to generate a lot of lies, such as religious teachings and lawyers, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. There's a way to deliver truth that does not have to be insulting. Right. And we have lost that as an art. Like we take everything too personally. So when you just say something that other person does not want to hear because it is insulting, all of a sudden your truth is not accepted or welcomed because, oh, this makes me feel bad or this makes me feel uneasy or whatever. And we have lost our filter towards accepting. It was not even criticism, just like generalized statements that to other cultures would be, and I say cultures, not meaning humans, would be just normal statements. But we take them so personally and threatening. We perceive them as a threat.
Yeah.
That we lost the capability to hear truth and not feel threatened by it.
We when we talked about this yesterday, and we just had all these examples of a whole bunch of people that we know. We said, oh, this food could, how's the food? It could use a little bit of salt. Oh, EO's hurt. Or, hey, next time you buy produce, look out for this or that. And I think a lot of it is ego is hurt.
It's a child within. It's a child within.
It's a child response.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything is a child response.
Ego is hurt, or it's interpreted as, what they're saying is, watch, here's what you look for in produce. This is just a life tip in general. But what they heard was, and I'm a terrible person and nobody loves me.
Yeah.
And the ability to take criticism, even mean criticism.
In this case, this wasn't criticism.
In this case, none of it's mean. But even to take mean comments and realize that is not about me. It is about some sort of useful thing in the world that now I learned something. It is a learning experience. Or B, if they're just saying, yeah, you have an ugly face, then that says more about them than it does about you. And none of this should be taken personally at all.
Yeah, but think about what no lying is doing. It is a self-correcting system. Because the only reason as a society we'll be bothered by statements such as like, oh, hey, those potatoes could use a little bit more salt, and that's even like my preference, right? Like your preference could be those potatoes are fine, but for my taste, I think
you like radishes with salt. I like them without salt.
Yeah, right. There's nothing wrong with my preference for potatoes to have more salt and for your potatoes to have less salt. Like that is like quite literally just a personal preference on the palate. So if you're asking me, hey, what do you think about those potatoes? And I will say, oh, they could use more salt. That is my personal opinion.
Right. Which is the most innocent of all things.
No, but what I want to say is if we do not acknowledge self-deceit in all the ways we refuse to face our shadow of the childhood trauma where we are hurt and we want to cry, and this is just another proof that we're bad because we're under salted potatoes. If we don't do that, that's a deceit, that's a lie, right? Then the system basically corrects it because all of a sudden everything is a disaster. Every statement meant to you that has nothing to do with you, or even just someone's preference, or maybe just someone's teaching, or maybe someone's opinion that is in no way related to you,
right,
will be a shocking insult.
Right. This food is prettier than that food becomes.
No, but same thing applies to you, right?
I know.
You see what I mean?
I know.
Everything will be perceived as a shocking insult if you do not acknowledge the operating system that it has delegated 20% of your computing power to child being hurt.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Right.
And so it's a self-correcting mechanism. This is how Earth is going to be corrected, because we're not going to be able to lie, or the lies will no longer serve the purpose that they were serving in the past, which is like, whatever. The lashing out will not work. And if you lash out, it still will not do what it used to do, because that system has basically collapsed. It's like an energetic collapse, like a black hole collapse. And now there's a new system in place where, like, guess what? There's no more lying. Everything will self-correct. But again, ... to where unless you acknowledge why you have 20% of your RAM dedicated to my child is trying not to cry, that 20% will become very, very visceral.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how it actually works. That's how, like, through computer software or computer, motherboard RAM allocation of space. That's how it works.
Yeah. I used to take everything negative said personally, very personally. Everything was evidence that I'm bad, evidence that I'm not loved, just everything. I mean, it could have been, the potatoes unsalted, and I would have taken that incredibly personally.
Or what's up with your sugar intake yesterday? You took that personally.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I took
to begin with.
Yeah.
To begin with,
and
you took it as a shot.
But then there's this. Well, there's something there, and ignoring it's not going to do any good.
Well, no, let's give it as an example. So we finished dinner, and our dinner was kind of like snacky with whatever. And then usually at the end, we have some sort of dessert, and you had some sort of dessert. I don't know what it was. But then you proceeded to, like, not stop. Like, it proceeded to be
munching down on stuff.
Munching down, like, nonstop dessert. And with me, basically, I'm at the point of, like, okay, that is the number one sign that you're not acknowledging something, because the sugar intakes has skyrocketed, and you're just going through back and forth in and out of pantry, like, frantically almost, trying to shove as much sugar into your mouth as possible.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, so I'm like,
are you actually hungry?
My thought is like, are you actually hungry, or what is happening?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's fine if you're hungry and you still want to have that coffee cake on top of all the other stuff you just had. But pause and try to figure out while you're having, again, more sugar.
Yeah.
But to begin with, I know you took it as an insult. Like, I took it as an attack that I'm bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe talk through, like, what the system under lie would do in that sense, and then what this actual system needs to do in that sense.
My go-to has always been to kind of, like, ignore that, change the topic, and pretend it didn't happen.
But you would not have coffee cake, but deep down,
I wanted it. But
you wanted it.
I mean, either way, I would probably not have it, because I know
through resentment to me, though.
Yeah. And, but at some point it's like, I don't need to eat coffee cake at, 7:00 at night.
Well, on top of like a lot of other
I
stuff.
don't think I had much dessert. Did I? I had some oranges. What did I have? I don't even remember.
You had like 3 or 4 slices of peanut butter and jelly and then Nutella.
Oh, peanut butter jelly wasn't dessert. That was like food.
What about Nutella?
That was dessert.
And what about the pretzels?
3 pretzels.
What about the plum nectarine things?
See, I guess I don't see those as
What
dessert.
about the oranges?
I definitely don't see those as dessert.
They're all sugar. You're realizing you're cramming yourself in with sugar.
Mm.
It's a sugar. What is the truth? How about this? Here it is. You're justifying why it's not dessert. Yeah. Why it's not, I'm cramming shit into my mouth.
No, it is. Everything you mentioned is very sweet and sugary.
Yeah, it's a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies. Like when we say that, do you know that there's a connotation behind it?
Right.
It's what you were doing.
Yeah. So what?
Carbs, bread, challah bread is sugar. It's a sugar bread.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Kind of hungry now. But yeah, what it was is, I was feeling the overwhelm that we had talked about. And instead of feeling it, I'm like, oh, this makes me not feel it quite as much. Nom, 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 nom. And I was just blindly doing that.
No, but me saying that to you under blind accept. So if the system is there still accepting lies, you would have heard it. You would have got offended by it, just like somebody else got offended about the salt comment. And if you would have said, oh, look, one, there's resentment towards me for saying it because like, oh, I took something away from you or I judged you or whatever, right? So there's that. And then there's like, oh, but I actually want it. And now I feel too shamed to have it because she just made me feel shameful about shoving Girl Scout cookies in my mouth. And then you would have stopped because you wanted to be good, because regardless of my comments, you still want to be loved, right? And therefore you will stop because now
you're right. That's
Tanya's interpretation is I'm bad because I'm shoving Girl Scout cookies in my mouth.
That is why I would have stopped.
Yeah. So, but I want to say, under the system of a lie, that would have been your go-to for the last 45 years.
Yeah.
And you would have stopped there. So resentment, 1. 2, fear of being perceived as bad, ... therefore not being loved.
Yep.
But deep down, still resentment.
Super unsafe.
Well, unsafe, but like in this case about coffee cake.
Right. It's not about the coffee cake.
Yeah.
It's not about the potatoes. It's
but at no point would it have went into, why in the fuck am I shoveling sleeves of Girl Scout cookies in my mouth uncontrollably at 7 p.m. at night? Right? There's that truth that I had to point out. And then 2, if Tanya happens to say something because she wants me to like pause and go, wait, why am I shoving Girl Scout cookies in my mouth? Then there's a whole other set of fears that could arise if I draw awareness to you unprocessing shoving Girl Scout cookies in your mouth.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So both of those carry unawareness.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have fear in them. But then the truth is, I was there to make that comment, but it's not about me. I'm just there trying to, on my last shove, hold you accountable for truth.
Right.
And the truth is, you're just overwhelmed, and the Girl Scout cookies are filling the void of not being loved and whatever sugar does, right?
Right.
Whatever we have trained the sugar to do to the system.
Right. I have a coffee cake shaped hole in my soul. That's the only thing that can solve it. Is how it feels on the surface.
But
then after the coffee cake's gone, then what else we got in here? Yeah,
well, you weren't stopping. It was just a trip to a pantry, in and out. It was like a refrigerator, pantry, the fruit area, back to the pantry. It was just like frantic shoving. I know to you it didn't feel frantic, but it was basically like there was not even, I don't even think each bite was appreciated. Do you know what I mean? Like the speed at which you were intaking food was not like I'm having food. Like it was like like shoving Girl Scout cookies in your mouth, right?
Girl Scout. That's the best example.
But that's the only reason you would ever subscribe to Girl Scout cookies.
Samoas are good.
Right. Do you see what my point is? So the self-sabotage, right, could look like that.
Yeah.
It could look like Tanya doesn't say anything and I continue to shove Girl Scout cookies in my mouth. That is a self-sabotage, right? Self-sabotage is Tanya says something and I like go into the old programming of, look, oh, all of a sudden I'm bad and she's not going to love you. One, because I'm fat. And two, because I'm not doing the due diligence on my awakening and awareness into why in the fuck am I shoving Girl Scout cookies in my mouth? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to, this has nothing to do with Tanya. She just points out that I might be acting blind.
Right.
Am I? Let's pause. Tanya's out of the picture.
Right. She's just a really good mirror to me.
What does that mean?
You're just, yes, it's you pointing it out, but you're just a really good at being a mirror and reflecting back what it is that I'm doing in a way that like points it out to me.
How's that a mirror?
Like you're telling me something about myself, showing me something about myself in the way that like a mirror would.
Oh, does mirror only shows you what you have in front of you?
That's why I said you're like a really good mirror. Like,
but the mirror will never show you anything that's not reflected in it.
You don't like my analogy?
I don't understand it.
It's removing the you from it, and like the idea that it's you judging me or anything like that, and you're just like, showing me what I'm doing, telling me what I'm doing.
I'm telling you to pause. I'm not telling you to do anything, right?
You're pointing it out.
I'm like, hey, it's okay that you have the next slice of coffee cake, but pause and analyze what's happening.
Have you noticed that you've been eating a whole lot of stuff? Yes or no type of a thing. It's like, it's just that. That's what I mean by a mirror.
Yeah. I'm just telling you to pause.
I think a mirror is a great analogy here. It's showing me what I've kind of not really necessarily noticed.
But the self-sabotage will be there like that, right? Yeah. You could self-sabotage by not noticing that you're eating sleeve of Girl Scout cookies each evening, right? And the health problems that will arise with that would be the fallout. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Sooner or later, after enough sleep of Girl Scout cookies.
That's a little lagging indicator, though, unfortunately. It's not, once, you eat a sleeve for the first time today, tomorrow you're not 400 pounds. But you do it for a year, you will be.
But eating your lies away will not work, and it will just make you sick.
Yes, and it will be quicker.
Yeah, so maybe in the past you could eat 4 years worth of Girl Scout cookies every night and not die right away. But yeah, the delay between selection of a lie and the outcome is a lot quicker. So if you're using food as a self-soothing mechanism to not realize what is it that you're doing, what kind of relationship you have with food, all of a sudden that food will start poisoning you. Like, not because the food has changed, because your relationship of what is allowed to function on Earth will change.
Yeah. No,
what I mean?
that feels right. Yeah.
So it's not like all of a sudden like Girl Scout cookies are going to be less healthy than they were before. The Girl Scout cookies are going to continue to be what they are. But the energetic frequency of the food intake that you'll continue to have will register differently on your system if what you're communicating to yourself is, this is a tool I'm using to stay blind.
Right. It's not so much the what you're eating, it's the why you're eating it. Eating, doing, reading, consuming, whatever.
Yeah. So yesterday I still said it to you because it was the 16th, but
I know.
So just an FYI.
It's kind of close.
Oh no, that's it. That was it, right?
It's all over now.
No, it's self-responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Responsibility of self. Like, what does that mean, right? There's got to be some sort of commitment to self and to your truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's forced. Now the universe is like, guess what?
Here it is.
Dicking around's over. Like, you're not committed. That's what I love about it. It's like, I'm so excited about it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about it. Because it's been so long for this system to be coming. And it kept on erroring out for so long that now that the system is in place, I think it will be magical. I mean, it will be magical for those who choose it to be magical, but other will find magic in other ways.
Yeah. No, it's like, like the bridge and run across. I love that phrase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
there's no, at some point, I think at some point we wanted this casual experience of what a lie is and how, how far it can go and like how much we can deny the truth in our relationship and our boundaries in our choices in life. Like it was all cash. Like it was just so cash because we really wanted to exploration.
Low stakes
And like exploration of like, oh, it's okay. We can get offended by salt statements and the coffee cake statements and the strawberry statements and those are just like nonchalant statements. Do you know what I mean? But like now, if the determination is not there for the truth has been determined for you. And then the outcome of that, some people probably did come here for that outcome. So I want to say that that's okay too. Do you know what I mean? Some people came here for, oh, it's going to be in your face. Like, but you'll be like, la, and the amount of fighting you have to do to deny it will be like excruciating. But then others who came here for the truth would like really like embrace that and run with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think majority of people came here for the switch and they will be running with this and playing this out in the most beautiful way.
It feels like a great enabler of positive change.
Yeah. Oh no, but like it's like a great reset that actually it's interesting, right? Think about this. From analytical standpoint, how can we correct a system that has been jeopardized from the internal core of choice, right? Well, we correct the internal choice at its core into an ability to see things as not true, right? Like this is what's interesting, right? Because the not is not an option in the universe. We would walk around thinking that there is a yes and a no. And that like, oh, I'm afraid of this as a child and I'm crying and I'm screaming inside, but like that's painful and that hurts. So us not thinking about it is a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm scared at Hoyts.
And it's okay that we don't acknowledge it because that seems to be a thing.
It always seemed to be a thing.
That's gone. Like the idea that not acknowledging something makes it not be there is gone. So now you're like, that doesn't work.
Doesn't feel like it works.
But that is because the system that allowed us to perceive something as not there is gone. Hence the lying, right? The lying is actually not anything. Then I thought that something is not there when it's actually there.
Say that again.
Lying is a thought, an allowance of the system to pretend like something is not there that is actually there.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
It's deceiving yourself.
You're deceiving, but the system of lying allows you to like trick your psyche to believe that if you're scared and it hurts, if you like pretend it's not there,
Yeah.
then that's the new truth.
Like some sort of ostrich head in the sand.
Yeah, but like the system allowed for all of that. And now the system has been overridden to where like, no, we just cannot, like, if it's a lie, it will be obvious.
No, we just cannot.
Yeah. And if it's a lie, it will be obvious. And if you want to trick yourself, it doesn't work. And so now if you're going to trick yourself, you almost have to go psychotic to the next level in order to pretend like the lie that you have invented that have worked for so long is still the case. Because I don't know what kind of system would be able to hold that in place. For all I know, some people came for that. Like, how hard do I have to work in order to continue to hold lie as a truth?
Sounds like it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of energy. It sounds exhausting.
No, but it was like for you and I, we already knew that was the case and it was exhausting.
It was already exhausting.
Now there's going to be almost impossible. So. Yeah. But I am curious to know how that's going to play out for some people. How hard they're going to, like you would have to exhaust all of your life force in order to stay stagnant in the lie.
Yeah.
So yeah, some people will be exiting right now because they don't want to integrate into the truth. They want to keep the story, but that means letting go of their box of lies that keeps the integration of wholeness into them, but they will run out of fuel inside their box. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if they
yes, there used to be fuel you could pull, and now it's just a closed system, and you've only got so much that you're burning off.
Well, no. Functioning in a lie is a closed system and has always been a closed system, right? You are apart from wholeness. Okay. In order to hold a lie, you're apart from wholeness. But because the system was moving at turtle speed, you were not using that much energy. So your little battery reserve that you were working off of was like draining the systems very, very gradually, very, very slow. To where like 200 years ago, we were like snail speed. And then like over the years, it has kind of like inched its way into like maybe a turtle speed, right? I guess, right? I don't know if this will be helpful. Like, but if going back to the computer analogy, right? If your computer is plugged in, there you go, phone analogy would be better. If your phone is plugged in and it's charged up, right? You were born and there's a charge, right? Your iPhone is charged up to 100%, right? And then that's your charge. And then the second the invention of lying starts, you're unplugged. Like your 100% is now your it. And anything you do forward from this 100%, unless you connect to the greater whole, is basically using off your battery percentage, right? Well, in order to keep the lie locked, right, to keep your curriculum going into a lie, you have to not connect to the grid. You have to not plug back in, right?
Right.
So your limited Earth experience can only be facilitated if you live off the battery and not see like the infinite like etheric potential of energy floating all around you, much less think you need to plug into the main grid. Right. Like that right there is actually a whole conversation to be had. And so you're like, oh, look, I am literally depleting my life force because the only life force that I'm using is off of this battery because I'm choosing to live a lie, propagate a lie, and think of the world as lesser than, right? And if you, let's say, started in 1920s, things have been going very gradually, and that snail speed usage of your battery.
Low power mode.
Yeah, low power mode. I was like, oh, okay, mommy didn't love me. There's a 2% there, and daddy didn't love me, another 2%. And I got molested, and there's another 2%. And I don't know, Bobby left me, and there's another 2%. Or I'm unlovable because I got molested, and mommy didn't love me, daddy didn't love me. Here's another 3%. And like you gradually use up your force, and the system allowed you.
But you had 100% could last a lifetime.
Back in the olden days. Yeah.
And now you're running Photoshop on that, and that'll suck your battery down.
Yeah. So now in order to suppress the system, to continue to have the lie propagate because you're still on your one-time charge from birth. The system is now like basically you were running a calculator and now you're running Photoshop.
Right. And the phone turns into a hand warmer. You know how when your phone gets warm because it's just burning the battery up.
Yeah, but like so when in the past the lies were okay and the amount of power that the suppression of truth took was calculator level power usage, now you are running Photoshop.
Yeah.
And the Photoshop just sucks your battery dry. Right? Like imagine if our phone ran Photoshop. Shit, we wouldn't have an iPhone at all.
Photoshop's the worst.
Yeah.
I say that. I haven't used it today.
So does that make sense?
It does.
So,
I can feel that.
Yeah. So as far as like how it works is the amount of power that your closed circuit system will need in order to continue to function in a lie will just be like infinite, and you no longer have infinite power. So it's either you have to open the system, you have to plug yourself into the charge, which is
the truth.
The truth. Or you realistically realize that there's infinite power, but another whole other conversation. But yeah, it's either you have to plug into the truth,
or your battery dies.
Or your battery dies.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I maybe some people came here for that type of experience. Like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I say nonchalantly realizing what it means, right? Like it means, because like your prana is your life force and it is your battery. So for you to run out of your battery,
it's probably not pretty.
It's not pretty. Yeah. However that pretty looks is your personal selection of how you're going to exit out. Right. So everybody's going to have some awesome creative way to exit or whatever, or some maybe boring way. I don't know. But like, yeah, the exit is I am not willing to open into the truth, which actually is plugging yourself back into, it's actually not plugging, it's actually opening yourself up to the infinite power, right? For like an ultimate recharge or like an upgrade almost. It's like your old iPhone gets thrown away and all of a sudden you're giving a machine that like doesn't need plug. And you're like, fuck.
Cold fusion.
Well, no, it's what Tesla, what Egyptian pyramid and Egyptian structures are still doing to us today, and what Tesla was experimenting with. That is how pranic force actually works.
There's just an infinite supply that everybody can tap into.
But there has always been. And the only reason we're not is because we're choosing to live a story of a lie.
Right.
In order to keep ourselves from tapping into it.
Deliberately unplugged.
Yeah. Well, because we want to live a really fun narrative of lesser than. And it has been really fun. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if you look at it, like,
right.
Shit, like your and I entire lifetimes is just like struggle and making it and like being brave and crying and trying not to cry and oh, I'm a victim and oh, I'm gonna go fight. Like it's a really, really fun story.
I have no boundaries. Oh, I'm gonna try to have boundaries. Oh, I feel bad about having boundaries.
Right? Like think about how beautiful the narrative has been into a lesser than experience of all kinds of like infinite amount of exploration that this lying has allowed us to participate in. But it's not because the infinite is not available, it's because we have to pretend like it's limited in order to like have deeper sorrow. Like we want the deeper sorrow in order to feel like we have belonged, we lived, we suffered, we persevered, we like all of this.
Yeah, right.
There's this beauty. Earth
there's some idea that's
well, that we came here for that beauty, that type of beauty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we fought and we
fought and we loved and we
Yeah. But there's been this like, like to me, when I like think of like Soviet Union or Great Depression or like persevering through war.
There's this weird,
it's all like
weird, almost romantic view of like a heroism or
suffering
or nobility inside of it.
Suffering. Yeah.
When it's like, that's an option.
Yeah, and some people exit on that option.
You can do that. That's a choice.
Yeah.
That's fine and good. It's also a choice there's an infinite number of ways to live.
Well, yeah. Heroism basically at some point takes
almost like a martyr to getting
martyr and overcoming martyrism for the cause of I don't know what, like, right? Like, this is there you go. This is a perfect way to summarize it. Joseph Campbell completion of the hero's journey. That's it, right? In this case,
the final step is the hero comes home with new knowledge.
Yeah, but in this case, the final step is the hero acknowledges that the entire journey was a choice into a battery operated system.
Sure. Well, that's the wisdom that the hero brings back in this case.
Yeah, but the reset of the system is not a reset into the new journey. Like, because Joseph Campbell's story is he comes back and then he goes on a different journey to do the exact same
rinse
thing.
And repeat. Yeah.
Yeah. The rinse and repeat is over with. At least for some people. How about that? Right. But like, it's interesting, right? Because I can read the prime directive, and there are more people who are not set onto rinse and repeat than onto exiting out into the rinse and repeat. Like the percentage of people who are moving up into not rinse and repeat, as opposed to percentage of people who are exiting, is a lot more.
Well, that's probably good.
Yeah. And so the directive, it's really interesting. Its directive is kind of locked in, and the conversation. And this is like, it's interesting.
Well, it's like a fork in the road.
Yeah,
kind of got to pick left or right.
But people who are choosing to give up the battery system and just merge in with the truth, and then thus feed off of like the infinite power of love and truth, are a lot more than the people who are, I don't even know what they're going to be doing, exiting or like creating their own split in reality. You know what I mean? I don't even know how that's going to look like. Yeah, it would be very interesting because like shit, the shit will start to change, but like it will start to change into this direction. But like from the physical standpoint, realize we like will not see. Like if you're just in a reality and all of a sudden this reality is this, you will not know that, oh, this is already like a whole other offshoot of reality.
Yeah.
Like, so.
And I'll imagine most of the people connected to the source of love are not watching the evening news to find out all the bad stuff that's going on in the world.
But you won't even, like, realistically, you will not be able to even...
I say evening news. That takes me a bit.
Unless you tuned in into this system change, right? You like, I can move back up couple of points, and I can go, oh look, the system's installed. Here's let's say fork in the road. There will be decision points and deviations and complete system arcs and other systems, I don't know what, reinforcements, and then Joseph Campbell's reloops. But like that's a whole downgrade. Like that system will continue to downgrade down versus the system will basically is already bumped up. And so, like no one's making a movie about that. Things are just happening, and you will not even realize like that's what the movie is. Do you know what I mean? Like you and I are talking about this, right? But tomorrow when we go out into the real world and we'll continue to function, we will not be going, oh, okay, this looks like it because the system has split and now the truth has to be at the surface and this is happening. Like you and I would do that, but most people will not.
Yeah. But that's just how it'll be.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you and I can like loop back and go, oh, it's this way because of the prime directive and the baseline of frequency has just shifted, right? And so therefore, this is the new signature of Earth that we are experiencing. Like we can look back on that and I can get excited and go, that's interesting.
And, yeah.
But most people would be like,
that's just how, I mean, that just gives us maybe understanding maybe of the whys and the wins, but it's just how it is.
Yeah. That's interesting. It can be very interesting. I say this, but like, do you, I say this.
No, I feel it. I feel it myself, independent of everything you said. Things have changed. Things somehow changed overnight. But I woke up feeling like possibilities are endless in a good way. I woke up feeling just energized and excited and like almost like I can tackle anything type of a thing.
Yeah, but there's a choice into what, right? Like, and that's infinite. You can say you could tackle anything, but like realize that like you now decide what anything is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that I want nothing to do with too. That
I mean, you still have to. There's nothing to do with it. It's just integration.
I mean, in the 3D world, there are things that I have no desire to interact with.
Yeah, but that is having a boundary. That is knowing your boundary, having your boundary, setting your boundary, and respecting your own boundary. The conversation that you and I were like fiddling around yesterday of like, wait, what is it that is happening? It's that setting the boundary, knowing that this is your boundary for the first time, reinforcing your boundary and respecting your own self for your boundary.
Respecting yourself. Because so much of, once I started setting boundaries, which was really not all that long ago, there's this like, and you said the same thing. It's like, oh, well, is that the right thing to do? Oh, is that going to, I feel bad about having a boundary and, is it going to, are they going to get upset? Is, am I wrong? Just doubting your own boundaries. Yeah. Could do a whole episode on boundaries. Did we?
Yeah, we had an episode on boundaries, just not an ability to say no because you're somehow bad because you perceive yourself as bad, right? But in my case, it's not even that I was perceiving myself as bad, is that I actually wanted the outcome to be different, but I don't know how to make it happen. But at the same time, I know a boundary. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's the thing.
And it's interesting because that changed too.
How so?
You determining what your boundary is sends the message into the universe. Here's what my boundary is, but in the long run, my heart is open.
I mean, yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Right.
That's different.
Yeah.
You have a boundary. I love everybody. I am love. I am vibrating love, but I still have a boundary because I love myself and I respect myself. And you can come into my space if that is the respect you're willing to offer me.
Right. The boundary is not no to this person. The boundary is no to this activity or this behavior or whatever. And if that person can, what am I trying to say? If that person is able to, if that person keeps doing that, then, well, there's the line. But if the person can, somehow go, oh, wait, this is not working for Tanya. Why am I doing it? Do I want a relationship with Tanya? Am I able to what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I'm not saying it very well. But it has changed completely. Like, think about this.
I used to have boundaries that were like no to these people.
Sure.
But it's not the people. It's the behavior.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you said the boundary is, here's the acceptable way that I can function and I am allowed to function, which is, if the second you set for yourself the frequency of pure truth as your prerogative, right? Then your boundary is pure reflection of that set of frequency. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So
you embody that.
You embody, if the second you choose to embody truth and you have a boundary, a solid boundary that is, this is me and this is what my essence is, what you're doing is you're not, no one's going to come here and threaten your boundary. They're not even allowed to come into proximity of 100 miles of you because their lie is not in resonance with your truth, thus your boundary.
That's the thing, is once you set boundaries,
this is not to keep people out.
No, but to a large degree, it takes care of itself. You're not, if you set a boundary, no, being physically abused is not okay. If you set that boundary, you are not going to find yourself in positions where that is even a thing that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe a more extreme example, but yeah, if you set boundaries, I'm not going to be treated this way. These racist ideas are not okay, whatever it is. If that's just a energetic boundary that you have set for yourself,
aligned with truth,
then you're not going to be seeing much of that in your life anyway.
This is the difference. Is to begin with, I did not understand that setting the boundary has to come along with accepting your truth and setting your truth. And if I cannot set a boundary, right, and then be okay with it or even have it work if I am not vibrating my truth. And my truth is really universal truth. That I accept myself as I am. I have triggers where I want to cry as a child. I have triggers where I don't want people to kill flowers. I have triggers where I prefer the world to have rainbows and butterflies. But that is my truth. Like, it actually doesn't matter what your truth is as long as you're solid in your truth.
Yeah.
Now, by default, statistically, the way the system works is your truth will actually be universal truth, because the second you start to connect with truth, you realize, oh, the only truth that I can connect with this is the infinite truth.
Yeah.
So it's not like people go like, oh, well, somebody's truth could be you're there drowning kittens and eating, whatever.
Yeah. I think that would fall away.
Well,
it would become clear that is not a truth.
Yes. Right. So like we want to design these scenarios where people can pick their truth, and then therefore the truth can be something that society is unacceptable. That is not how the truth works. In that case, they're not picking truth. They're just once again lying. But if the system does not promote lying and you holding your truth, by default, like I want to emphasize this, you cannot marry a truth that is not the universal constant if you're actually choosing your truth. Like it doesn't even work. There's like, the system does not work any other way. There's only one truth and everything else is not truth. But the not truth is actually the truth. It's just your limited iPhone battery storage that you're choosing to comprehend information through. But the second you realize that and marry the actual truth as opposed to the truth that you're creating.
Yeah. You have to double down on your
double down on your false truth because you want to keep this truth a truth.
Yeah.
But that's not truth, right? When you say there's not in the universes, that's what it is. You're doubling down on your truth that is actually not truth.
And because when I've done that, I can feel it.
I can feel it. But you can feel that it's, but you have to have compassion for yourself.
You're
not doing it because you're bad.
It's not a malice thing. It's
a self-protection.
You're scared. Yeah.
You're self-protection. Yeah, it's a self-protection.
But it very clearly takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy, and it just probably takes more now.
Yeah. It's interesting because whenever it hits so hard that it puts you into this like shock mode. Like I see that in other people now, but like, I know how it feels within myself. The second you realize you're lying to yourself, you get this like deer in the headlights, like stop. And you're like, oh, fuck. And then like the system like then has to like recalibrate into some sort of swizzle. I'm actually in my mind seeing there's a genetic thing that looks like a spiral, but it's like a bent up spiral.
Like DNA.
like a part that is part of our DNA. Like it actually triggers this reset into the system. And the more you accept those resets, the more you're basically giving up this codependence on your battery powered limited existence.
Right.
I'll show it to you when we get done with the podcast, but maybe flash whatever that thing is called, because it's some sort of genetic component.
Yeah.
So that gets upgraded.
Right.
Whatever that thing is, it gets upgraded into realignment with truth as opposed to a selected truth.
As opposed to more mental gymnastics to try to somehow justify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no, it's going to be gorgeous. Like it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I say gorgeous from the standpoint of truth, but in real life, I think it will be gorgeous on the higher level of acceptance. But I don't know how it will look from interpretation of physicality, right? But like this has been a long way into making, like
long time coming.
A long time coming, because the message. I had a huge dream when we went to Tenerife and Canary Islands, and it has a lot of Arcturian energy. Have I talked about this or not? So whenever we went to Tenerife, I might have said this on the previous podcast or not, but it has a huge, at least to me, it has a huge Arcturian energy there, Arcturian presence. And I had this huge vision, I said, vision dream. I think I heard somebody refer to prophetic dreams as vision dreams. That basically like summarize my Arcturian history for me. And in there, there were 7 beings, and we were from different systems, and we were trying to figure out of how to implant this technology onto Earth, right? In order to have Earth be what it's meant to be, as opposed to what it's become. And we had 5 attempts where it was completely failing to take, like devastatingly, disastrously failing to take. And because the system of propagation of desire, of this exploration of depth, overran the desire for truth. Like it overran, like,
okay.
Right. So like, they called it a technology, and we refer to it as technology. And it's actually a technology as far as an energetic intake into the system. But that's what we were doing. We were struggling because the system wouldn't take. And then there were disastrous outcomes because everybody was so attached to the density of otherwise.
Interesting. The desire for depth won out.
The desire for depth, but that is not alignment with the truth.
Right. There's depth into the truth, and there's depth into other.
Yeah, but like the depth was almost like corrupted by the blindness. Like I say depth, like, yeah, it was like we were martyrs and we were visceral. Like I'm talking about our lifetimes, right? Like, oh, we suffered and all of this and also all of that. But the visceralness of that experience, the depth, like the loss of it became so dense that the amount of directive that we were pushing through trying to install that technology wouldn't take, because that depth was so much bigger than the portion that we were pushing in. And so we were just, in my dream, like the message that I got is we were struggling to understand why it wouldn't take, why the upgrade wouldn't take. And that's when, obviously, Arcturians being as awesome as they are. So the term that I was used, that I volunteered to go to sleep in the mouth of the beast for 300 years. I don't actually, like, who would even use words like that?
Sounds biblical.
Right? Sounds biblical that like, oh, I was, like I decided that I was going to go sleep in the mouth of the beast. It's like, wow, like but yeah, I remember those words specifically because I was like, what does that even mean? But let's say I interpret that as like, okay, I have been reincarnated in some form on Earth for 300 years in order to understand the system. And 300 years is whose time frame? There's no time. So like Earth time, but like but time is not linear. So 300 years of a simultaneous interpretation of various realities.
Yeah.
It feels like that. But let's say this is one of them and I'm experiencing this one in this moment. So I'll just talk about this one. Yeah. And so then when I was on Tenerife, I was like, somebody else was there and I was telling them, they're like, oh yeah, the stone ship is here. And he was like, I needed to talk to him right away because things are switching. The switch is ready to happen. And I was telling him like, I need to talk to you, whatever you're working on, just an FYI. He's like, and why are you even talking to me? Because we have this very interesting relationship. And I'm like, oh yeah, the stone ship is here. So he's like, oh, okay. So the stone ship is here. So there's someone else on Earth who is also Arcturian who is involved in this. But yeah. And so that was 2 years ago, right? Was it 2 years ago?
No, it was last, 2 calendar years, but it was the fall of 24.
Oh, so it's a year ago.
Year and a half.
Okay, a year. Yeah, so a year ago. Well, it was right after fall equinox, like following the arc into between fall equinox and winter solstice. In that arc is when we went to Tenerife. And so yeah, the stone ship is here, but like in my mind, I saw it coming. But so yeah, let's say a year and a half for it to get here. I don't know what that means. I'm not a space expert in time and space, outside of time and space to know, because it doesn't actually take a spaceship to get anywhere a year and a half, because that's not how things work. So I don't know, whatever it is. So anyway, it totally feels like whatever that conversation was and whatever mouth of the beast for 300 years was, and whatever technology we're failing to implant in the 300 years of research in order to figure out why the system keeps on erroring out and resetting itself, has come to a conclusion. And now this is a conclusion.
It would be interesting to look up what happened, February 17th, 1726.
Oh, do you think it's time wise?
I don't know.
It
would be interesting just to look, see if there's anything exciting on that date.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Wikipedia.
Oh, but no, it would have been like energetic.
Oh yeah.
I guess I can tune into it energetically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like Earth time and space, and their time and space is not Earth time and space.
Okay.
So anyway, so as a summary, it totally feels like the arc of conclusion of the technological implant that was always meant to be into the system has finally taken place and is finally working. And the technology now, I realize, is an ability to hold a frequency that is not in alignment with the universal truth and universal constant. And that's, truth, just truth. So basically, the human system that allowed the lie to continue to be the prerogative has been dissolved in the most beautiful and brilliant way. Like showering with flowers is basically kind of how I see it. Like, I have a thing with flowers and the frequency of flowers. So I do a lot of healing through flowers. But yeah, so it's just like the entire human genome, whatever that thing that we flashed earlier that I still need to Google up, has basically been able to be reached and restructured into differentiation and acceptance of what it means to hold truth and how vibratory it feels not to. And so now there's no, this is the thing that I remembered. I was thinking, okay, so this has been coming for a while, but for sure has been coming, let's say for a year and a half, ever since I got the message, right? And everything you and I have been talking about is how to choose the truth, what it means, how it feels, and really know thyself from Jesus' standpoint is actually just know truth, right? Because thyself is truth. So the second you accept thyself as truth, then from Jesus' standpoint, it actually completely lines up with his teachings.
Right.
But remember, you said this, or one of our friends said this, that like, or maybe we heard this, that we live in Kentucky, and Andy Beshear, who's our governor, is like in my mind, or at least how I heard it, is leading the campaign of truth, like human soul connection to human soul connection, and the desire for truth as opposed to lie in politics.
I don't think I said that.
No, but everything he says
I
is
agree,
truth.
but I don't think I said that.
No, but this is my outlook on, like, think about the governor in our state is probably one of the only people that I know of. Of course, we don't follow politics, and you happen to tell me that he was on Jon Stewart. So,
and the View, I think.
Oh, whatever, right? So whatever it was, he's the only human being in politics that I know right now who's committed to truth, not versus a lie, but the truth that the human soul carries value and potential. And there's this human to human connection that we have sympathetically and empathetically in order to connect to one another on the level other than politics or other than money or other than votes or lobbying, just like human to human connection, right?
Yeah.
Like the only human being I know in politics.
Who'd have thunk you could connect like that?
Right. But think about this. His essence is, I'm a soul and you live in my state and I'm your governor and you chose me. You're a soul. I give a shit about you. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. I'm responsible for you.
If you voted for me or not.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if you voted for me. I'm responsible for you because you're a soul and I'm a soul, and that is what the earth is about. And in his case, Kentucky's about, because he happens to be overseeing Kentucky. But that is the level in which he's connected to humanity.
Yeah, right. That's powerful. Powerful stuff.
Yeah, right. So we're both going to start crying right now. Maybe, right.
Well, it's like, the frustrating thing is that it feels that so few people feel that way.
But if
so few people who have the ability to
care,
to affect people care that way.
Yeah, but if he's making his rounds on Jon Stewart and The View and wherever else he is, and I know that is the human being that he is, and that is the vibrational frequency that he chooses to bring into this earth, he's going places. So, and I don't even know what those places are. It doesn't even need to be existing places. It could be a reformed places, right? But he's in politics for a reason deeper than what Earth has been able to hold up until recent future, right? He's in politics for the change that has just taken place, and then what he means for that change to be implemented. So, like, huge level implication of what our governor, like, out of all the people, think about this, our governor is going to do in the world forward.
Right.
Like crazy shit. So anyway, I thought, oh my gosh, how awesome is that? It's literally in Kentucky, and I'm in Kentucky, and we're in Kentucky, and he's like basically changing the frequency that is the politic implements this change into, right? So there's one. I mean, anyway, so ... And there's another dude who is the representative of our county in Kentucky, who is maybe slightly out there as far as people's interpretation goes, but is the only dude who's holding the truth responsible for the whole sex scandal thing that I will not name names of.
Yeah.
The only person who wants truth to be out in the open is someone who lives in our county, and our county is tiny.
Is the county or is the district? I'm not sure.
No, I thought it was a county.
I don't know how it works, but but
anyway,
he's from around here.
He's like literally probably lives around the corner from us somewhere. And when he's not in wherever
DC.
he goes to, into DC. Yeah. The only person responsible for truth is like living around the corner from us, one, because he represents our district, and the other person is the governor who also represents us.
Right. It's like we seem to be at the epicenter of positive change.
No, but what is the essence of these two human beings is the desire to hold the truth. And this is truth beyond politics. This is truth beyond anyone's story, anyone's sensation in the news. This goes down to the core of the human essence. There's humanity and your humanity and our humanity is facing your humanity. At what level do we want to have that faced? And
Right.
like as far as Arcturian propagation of energy distribution of what is the prime directive of Earth right now, that is totally it. Like like as far as alignment goes, that's it. Is the alignment with the universal truth. And in this case with the politics, I thought that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so magical.
That's really, I guess I didn't consider look at that. The two beacons of hope out there are from,
and
here.
I'm not saying
sure
there's no
I'm sure
others.
there's others, but
yeah. But what they represent is holding of the frequency of truth beyond comprehension of political systems. And it's interesting to me how that's going to play out, right? But there are already people in place who have that set agenda and have been propagating that agenda forward. Now it's just going to skyrocket. Anyway, so yeah. I just got so giddy and excited about that. So I thought I would put that in at the end. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.